Hi, what's up? It's your girl Amirah, and today I'm taking over the We Just Talking podcast. Today I'm here with my girl Joe Rivers, and we're about to get into some things. Joe, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. And by the way, as she said, my name is Joe Rivers, singer, songwriter, hostess with the mostest, here at your service.
Y'all, so like I said, we about to get into some things, Joe.
Yes, indeed. We
I'm gonna
ready to
turn it.
chat.
Yep, I'm about to turn it over to Taquan so he can get into these questions because
Yes,
we got a lot
indeed.
for him.
All right. So, thank y'all for gathering here with me today. My first question to y'all. Today, y'all are serving as teachers to me. I am a man and I am here and I want to learn from y'all. I'm all about the solutions. I would like to put an end to some of these gender wars. I know there always will be there, but at least we could give some people some peace of mind today. Some men out there who want to learn some of the things that I'm about to ask. All right. So my first question for y'all is, how can I, as a man, make my woman feel protected and safe? What are some unsaid things that y'all can share with me?
Um, I guess I'll hop right on in.
Yes.
So first and foremost, I feel like we have to be the energy that we want to attract. I feel like a lot of times, I know it seems as though black women, are unprotected by men, but I feel like we don't even protect ourselves in a lot of different instances. So it's like, how can we hold a man up to this standard we don't even hold ourselves at? We constantly deal with men that are less than, and they show us that they are less than. They show us that they don't respect us, and we still allow them to get the best of us. So I feel like it starts within, because I feel like it's like, if you, how can I say this? If I protect myself, nobody else can take advantage of me,
Yeah.
kind of so to speak. So that starts within, I would say. And then also, if I had to, I guess, answer the question a little bit more accurately, I would say women have to also protect men more, and not, I would say, emotionally, because a lot of times women don't, they yell at the man, they emasculate him when it's an argument, because we lose, I don't know, we lose consciousness of, we lose respect for them and things like that while we're in that mode. And I feel like we should always never forget our roles. And when I say our roles, I just mean like who we should be to each other as far as from an emotional standpoint.
Yeah.
That's what I would say for starting off.
I like where we're starting off at because it's putting the accountability in the room
Exactly.
right now.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's the biggest elephant when it comes to womanhood is knowing our flaws and knowing when we got to cut the crap. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So going back to what you said about, are we a type of woman that can be protected? Because we definitely deserve protection. That's just like a given. But can we be protected? And with that meaning, like, can we allow a man to be in his nature, who is a leader, who is a go getter, he has these things naturally? Are we going to allow men to embrace that? And, you know, because women have been in survival mode for so long, I think that's something that we've learned from our mothers, grandmothers. Just being in a household in a structure that's already off balance, we don't know what protection looks like.
Right.
Because, especially if you're coming from a single parent home where mom is just in the house, boom, you already don't have that protection that is supposed to be in the foundation.
Right. Right.
Um, so you're literally asking women to work with something that they don't know how to do. We're already, you know, made or raised to be self sufficient or independent. So, how do we become a woman that can be protected?
I feel like we can become that woman once we deal with our past trauma and we do our work, because once we heal within, then we're able to do other things. For example, something I just had the conversation with a bunch of people, a few of my friends about. I was dealing with a man, and it wasn't going anywhere. But I had to ask myself, why do you keep putting yourself through this hurt and you keep going back and going back and going back and getting the same exact result? So I cut everything off. I stopped everything. And I said, you know what? Usually when we're in relationships and we get out of them, we're on to the next train smoking, whether we're talking to somebody or whatever, just to get our minds off of where we came from. So I said, no, I've been doing that my entire life and it has not served me at all. Why don't I try to actually heal, be alone, don't talk to anybody, don't date anybody, don't have sex with anybody, actually live alone, learn yourself, learn how to really love yourself, like being with yourself. Because when you like being with you, other people naturally will want to be males, the significant others will naturally want to be around you as well. And that's something that a lot of people don't do. Like, I've done it, and I was like, you know what? I had to spend those lonely nights alone, nobody to talk to. But it's like now I'm at the point where when I meet somebody else, I'm not going to judge him or punish him for what the last guy did to me. And that's what a lot of women do. They continue this circle of trauma and just confusion. And I feel like we got to break the cycle at some point in time.
I like that you said that. And going back to what the question that Taquan asked about how can I make a woman feel protected? That's really not your job, because when you're looking for a partner, she should already come to you with a self-protected mindset. Mm-hmm. And going back to what you said about trauma, where does that get destroyed? That gets destroyed literally in her relationship with her father. Because that is the first ever physical display of what protection is. And if daddy's not in the house, if daddy's not living up to his responsibility, how does she knows what her place is?
Right.
And not saying, oh, her place is a woman. No. Her place or her base should be home. Mm-hmm. But if dad's not there, how does she understand what protection looks like?
Correct.
So as a man, I think the best thing for you is to not go into a relationship looking to be the protector, but looking to be who you are in your right nature, in your divine nature. And a woman who has protected her mind and has family and has had the experience of having her mindset protected through her growing process will automatically feel at home when she feels your energy. It wouldn't be like a moving day.
Right.
Like, oh, now I have to get accustomed to this new space. It should be natural.
Right.
So I think when finding a mate, there's a lot of questions you have to ask, to see, are you willing and able to pick up this task?
Correct.
Of this sort of relationship. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So how you protect someone is by protecting yourself, being of yourself, and how you would want someone to be to you as a mate. And if the person is right for you, she's going to fall in line, in order with what it is that you have going on.
Mm-hmm. Especially because I feel like a man and a woman, they're supposed to protect each other. And that's realistically what it is. Because the same way you need him protection for as far as safety or something like that, when he comes home from that long, hard day at work and it's like, babe, they just tore me up outside. He don't want to get tore up again in the house. It's like, embrace that man, baby. Tell me about your day. Come on, I made you eat this plate of food. You know what I mean? You got to do that. And see, for me, it was, so I grew up in a household. I thank God for this every day. But I grew up in a household with my mother and my father. My dad, he was somebody who he always was able to be a man, even when he lacked in a certain area. Like, there was some times where he was the breadwinner, and then there was some times where when those contracts would be up as an operating engineer, he would be out of work. But guess what? While my mom was getting the money, he would drop my mom off in Center City, come back to Jersey, get me and my sister ready for school, feed us, drop us off, then come home. Then, like, food would be, like, he was still handling it, and my mom still treated him like a man. She never emasculated him. Yeah. However, my issue was my dad, I was always a daddy's girl. So because my dad was, the man of the household, he always raised me to be strong. he always raised me, don't let these men treat you any kind of way, don't let da-da-da-da-da. But when I became an adult, I still carried that with me. So it was like I'm still a strong black woman, when in reality I should have been tapping in more and watching my mom more, because she was the one who, she always remained soft, always remained a lady. Even when she got upset, when she was hurt, she was always a class act. And it's not until my adult years where I look at her now more. And it's like my dad was always, no, be strong, be strong. And it's like, all right, I got to do this, I got to do that. You ain't talking to me any kind of way. You ain't da-da-da-da. But it's like, yo, just relax. You can get any point across that you have to get across. Just be soft with it. Babe, I don't like how you talking to me today. Like, do you feel like we could just talk about this and da-da-da-da, and then we get past it? Instead of, no, because I told you and da-da-da-da-da. That's not helping anything. Yeah. Just being honest. So that's something I learned as well, because even people with those 2-parent households, sometimes they have issues as well. So that's something that I'm learning.
And you brought up a good point about being a daddy's girl and how that enables that hyper independence.
Right.
So that's a great point. On the flip, I was thinking about something earlier. And, you have a lot of men who they have this ideal of protection to a certain type of woman.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of that, on the flip, when a male tends to be very close with their mother, like, and I can speak on this because me and my son, our relationship is like this. Like, my husband, he'd just be like, sometimes I'll be like, look, what me and my son got going on,
mind your business.
But a lot of women don't realize that the things that they say or the things that they teach to their sons at an early age affects how they are in a relationship down the line.
Right.
Quick point in case. I hear so many women tell their sons, oh, I'm the queen. I'm the queen, and you better not treat no other woman better than me. I'm your mama. I come first. They have this mentality, right? And then when they meet a woman who is opposite of their mother, they deem her as someone that they shouldn't have to protect.
Right.
Or they shouldn't have to uphold.
Right.
And it's like, as women, we got to be careful. Because if you, and I told you about to get into some things. I can only keep it cookie cutter for a certain amount of time. I told you it's a takeover. But if you at home, let's just really say it. If you're at home on Facebook, in your pajamas, barefoot, pregnant, eating a seafood boil, and you telling your son, oh, I'm the queen, respect me, I'm number one, what is he going to go out and go get? So as women, we have to make sure how we are in the home is reflecting what we would want our sons to have once they leave. Don't sit here and say, oh, because I'm your mother, I deserve respect. No. What are you showing your son? What are you teaching him?
Right.
You need to be teaching him, listen, the type of woman that mommy is the type of woman that needs to take care of children, that's going to teach them how to be civilized adults. This is the type of woman that you want. This is the type of woman that is going to be able to take your leadership, not for oppression or degrading her, but because she understands the divine order.
Right.
She understands that her home is not her place, but it's her base. So how you see mommy at home, that's the type of woman that you need. And a lot of men don't get that.
No.
And, even in single parent homes, it's still our due diligence to make sure we tap into that divine feminine nature.
Right.
Because this is what our sons are looking at, and they are holding their women up to that same standard. So if you at home on Facebook Live eating a seafood boil, don't be mad if that's what he brings home to you 20 years down the line.
Right.
So it's just as important.
Right.
That what are they seeing? Children are sponges, and we don't really believe how much they take in can affect and adds on to the trauma. So when it's time to unpack it, you're just leaving this nice little cute package on the outside, but when this lady opens it up, they're like, what the heck did I allow in my home?
Right.
Who did I marry? Who the F did I marry?
Right. Because
what should have been done at home wasn't done.
Exactly. Then another thing, to piggyback on top of your point, I feel like...
Oh, wait, hold up. horsey back because you know I'm
Horsey.
Muslim.
Oh,
I'll touch the
no
horsey
swine.
back.
No pork on my fork. My bad. It's a snowball on top of what you said. So I also feel like women they have to lead by example, not even only saying like, babe, you got to do this, that, and the third. You can't say that and then let your son see a man coming in the house, not bringing you flowers, disrespecting you, dogging you out, and then you still allow that. That's teaching him as well. So it's like you have to lead by example. Because actions are always going to speak louder than words. Like, oh, my mom said this, but she be doing this, so I'm about to do this to these women. Like, no. Then it's like another thing. Some women have this unnatural connection with their sons to the point where they treat their sons like they're their man. And it's like they actually get jealous when they get girlfriends. So they try to run the girlfriend out. But my thing is, like, you can never do that because even when, like, we speaking on relationships with him, we got a married woman in the building. And I would like to be married one day as well. So it's like when we speak about being married, your mom is not number one anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you can still love her. That's still your mom. But now you have a wife. She's your she should be the number one woman in your life now. So it's like, people don't get that dynamic. And it's like, it just always, like you said, it starts in the home. What's your upbringing? Because it's like we have to start raising these children up the way they're supposed to go and stop toxifying, if that's a word, toxifying their minds at a young age while they're sponges, like you said. So it's like a lot of people don't do that. So it's just like, I hope we're not doomed. I hope we not doomed. But like, I'm still trying to hold on to the little bit of hope I got left. But it's a lot of trash out here, girl. It's a lot of trash out here. And it's like now I'm at the point where I do respect myself. So it's like the way I always should have been doing. So it's like I don't even let you in my space if your conversation isn't right, your mental isn't right, because I could just tell in the first 5 minutes of us chilling what kind of guy you are, what kind of girl you think I am, or what you want from me. So it's like if we're not talking about the things I want as far as like, hey, like you said, asking questions. I feel like that's very important, and we don't do that enough. When you're dating somebody, find out about, okay, so what was your upbringing like? So you know what their mom is like. If you have a baby by this man and you drop him off at your mom's house, you got to know what type of energy is going to be putting on that child, going in that child's mind. So it's like, then you got to think about, okay, well, do you want children? Do you want a marriage, or do you just want to be in a relationship forever? How would you raise them with a religious background? What is your religious background? Like, all of these things need to be talked about. So it's like, you not having a baby, and then it's like, well, babe, you knew I was Buddhist. Well, I didn't know you was Muslim, so now we raising them all over the place. Like, no, let's be on the same accord. But you would know that had y'all talked about things and not rushed through things in the beginning. So I feel like that's important as well.
Child, you just hit a lot of topics, and I think, you know, overall what you're saying is snowball onto what you were saying.
Snowball, not piggyback.
To snowball onto what you were saying, it matters the process in which we relate to one another. So like what you just explained was courting. But in today's day and age, we're dating.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between the two. When you're dating, that just means, oh, you're spending enough time with a person, and hopefully maybe one day the universe can connect you guys because you spent that amount of time together. Dating only correlates the time and the actual connection. But courting, you're actually interrogating. You're spending that time with that person. Think about it. When you go to court, what do? You sit on one side, the other person sits on the other side, and you have a lawyer speaking for you, okay? It's the same way with dating, courting. You got this person, and you're seeing the representative of the two.
Right.
You're not seeing the two yet because you haven't gotten that far. But you're seeing the representative who they want to display themselves as to one another. And how you get down to the get down is, okay, what's your credit score? Are you in debt? How much debt are you in? Okay, do you live by yourself? Do you live with your parents? Are your parents still alive? Because that's important. What was the dynamic like growing up? Was your mother submissive? These are questions you have to ask.
Yes.
You got to do all that unpacking before you put the emotion into it.
Correct.
Because if you're going into something blindly, like look at Risa Tisa with the whole,
child.
who the F did I marry?
Right. Yeah.
She went into a major commitment without knowing who it was she tied herself to.
Correct.
And when you embrace the relationship process with man and woman or whatever have you, you have to be clear as to who you are dedicating your time, your energy, and yourself to. Because years down the line, like I said, you will find out. Once that representative is now time, okay, case is settled, we want to be in a relationship. Oh, it's no need for lawyers. You're seeing the mean, green, ugly person that was behind that mask.
Correct.
And moving forward in a relationship, you can't just, if you're married, if it goes into marriage, you can't just, I'm going to be done with this person and move on.
Yeah.
No, you got to, this is a person that all your life, you've dealt with problem-solving skills by yourself. You've learned so many things and how to just be an adult by yourself. Now you're doing all those things, but now you have to consider someone. You have to problem solve with another person.
Right.
So now you have to find a common ground as to how they would solve a problem and how you would solve a problem. But as the women, we have to understand that the divine order is our nucleus, who we tap into, God, universe, man, and then woman, and then children. So when we understand,
some people be like, "No, the kids is up here," and then the structure be messing up.
I'm gonna feed the kids first, then the husband. I'm gonna do this. Girl, listen, the divine order is, and I'm just speaking from a spiritual aspect. God, man, because that's who He created after Himself, and then it's us.
How He gonna protect you if He hungry?
Exactly.
He need the sustenance so He can go back out there and keep fighting.
How can He protect you if all you putting in His mindset is drama, gossip, this, that, and the third? You gotta, hey, babe, listen, I know you tired. Take your shoes. Kids, come take your dad's shoes off. Come take your dad's shoes.
We as a team.
Come on. I'm gonna get your food. It's been waiting in the oven. I got you. Your bath water is running. It don't hurt to do that every once in a while. Not every day, because we're not perfect.
Right.
But every once in a while, it don't hurt.
That's fact.
You gotta, if you want to be protected within the relationship, you gotta give your man an incentive. You know what I'm saying? Like the other day, we went to the Chinese buffet, right? And I seen this lady rubbing her man's scalp, right? And my husband was looking like, dang, what that could be like. I'm trying to give me one of them. I'm like, oh, I really forgot. He didn't say it, but the look on his face was like, dang, I ain't had that in a while. And I thought about it like, dang, he ain't had that in a while. And just to think about the simple gesture of just melting those stresses of his mind out by just simply running your fingers through them waves.
Right.
Or through that receding hairline. You know, after 30, it starts to
coming back a little bit.
It ain't nothing.
That's
but to
right.
just show your man you appreciate him just being there and doing his duty by protecting you and making you feel protected.
That's right. That's right. The Quan over there looking like, I ain't never had no bad friend for me. I get my scalp rubbed.
I told you this is a takeover. We taking over.
Right. But no, that's really a thing. But like you said, people have never seen what a real family structure is to even know. So, but yeah, you gotta listen. You gotta treat these men right, man. And it's like, treat yourself right so you can treat them right. Like just like you said, it's like you can't come to them looking for something individually or in particular. You have to already have all voids need to be filled within yourself when y'all meet. So it's two whole people meeting together and everything else is just enhanced at that point. In the beginning, that's what I wanted to talk about, them representatives. So I'm about to give y'all some free game, ladies and gentlemen. So it's one way, because some people are very, very good representatives. Shout out to Risa Tisa. Well, no, he was a bad representative, but
And girl, we trying to go to Europe with you.
Right, girl.
Look,
yeah, we trying to go to.
Is there any room in that navy blue
know-
cognac seat interior? I'm trying to ride with you.
I see
Risa.
Delta gave her some tickets and stuff, and gave her some little sponsorships and
well-
all of that. But listen, one way to spot or put a representative up to the test prior to when y'all are in a relationship and you can see the true individuals. Challenge them by seeing the actions behind it. So like Risa Tisa, for example, let's use her since we just brought her up. Had he delivered all of those things, she would have been able to physically see everything. Like, oh, he did buy me the car. Yeah, I get it. He was paying the bills, and that's what threw you off. But no, had he came through and delivered all of those, no, I want my wife to have a car, a new car. I want my wife to have a house. He would have made sure that got done. Period. Like, so all of the running around and this, that, and the third, a lot of women fall for stuff like that. Yeah. That's why it's like, my heart does go out to her, because it's like, I've been in a long time ago, but I've been there too. So it's like, when men, you just want to believe that they're the one for you. You want to believe that it's your turn. Yeah. And it's like, sometimes it might not be. He might be the test in between, that's blocking your blessing. You got to go over that hurdle first, and then you can get it, because now she's on top. So maybe that guy being in her life was the thing she needed to get to the next level, and I'm sure she can get a man now.
Right. And before we get to the next question, let's just say this, that at the end of the day, if you want to know how to protect a woman, just do unto her as you would want her to do unto you.
It's that simple.
Because just as much as you have the same obligation of protecting her, she has the same obligation of protecting you, because you do deserve to be protected. Mm-hmm. So it's a mutual thing. If you know that providing her a home, providing her a place to get to and from, if she has to work, providing her the peace of mind of knowing that you appreciate that she is helping you. I mean, look, not everybody is in a position to the man does all the work. Some people got to go 50-50.
Right.
That's just the way we are.
Team.
But when you have a woman who is willing, because she doesn't have to. Let's just put that there. No woman has to go 50-50. That's just not the divine order. But if she does willingly do 50-50 with you, protect her by making her feel like she's appreciated for helping her man. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because there's a lot of women that would say, listen, I don't need this. Derek from down the street, he about to give me a Chanel bag. He about to fly me out to LA. It's a lot of women out there who are just willing to take because you got it like that. Mm-hmm. But they don't want to deal with a man who is willing to give them, who has sustenance to offer her mind.
Correct.
A peace of mind. Mm-hmm. They don't want to work for that. So protect her in the same way you would want her to protect you.
Yeah, that's how you become a good leader.
A lot of our girls and a lot of our women are being so unprotected. Mm-hmm. So we talked about protection.
Okay.
So let's talk about how and why they're being unprotected. Mm-hmm. And we get, trauma and past trauma and all that. But at some point, y'all men have to deal with that.
Right.
There are too many of our women who are being abused.
Correct.
Too many of our young girls being taken advantage of. Their innocence being stolen by grown men who did not deal with their childhood traumas and take accountability for things that they should have over the age of 8 once they turned 18. And it's sad because I see a lot of girls who adapt to the fact that they're not going to be protected because that's just what they know. Mm-hmm. They know that this society where they live at, that's just not what they're accustomed to.
Right.
You have young girls who fear. Well, I hear so many young girls who say, I fear walking down the street because grown men look at my breast or they look at my behind. I sometimes want to cut them off, literally sever them because the eyes.
Right.
When did we get that way? When did we get that way to the point where we no longer build confidence in our young girls, build confidence in our young women just by treating them with decency and respect.
Right.
You have a lot of girls that, because they know they know not to expect protection, that they just adapt to unsafe behaviors.
Right.
They overexpose themselves to things because they don't expect protection. They don't expect respect. They don't think they deserve it. You see a lot of our black girls, I'm going to just name it for what it is. Black girls getting treated like trash, but then they see brown women, white women, Asian women be treated with the utmost honor, privilege. But when it comes to them, they get the bottom of the barrel.
Right.
Why is that? That is a trend that has to stop.
Right. Correct. And I feel like a lot of times it's based off of how they, unfortunately, and I'm not saying that because of how you dress, you deserve to get treated a certain type of way, but that's a formula that I've learned ever since I was a child from my dad. You wear a certain thing, you're going to get a certain type of judgment, and you're going to get a certain type of attention that you may not want. So I learned how to, when I want to look like, when I want to get a little bit more attention, or if I want to be an adult, and I don't have to get naked at all. I can still be sexy and keep it together and be classy. But something I noticed is men operate a lot off of the way you dress. Like, you can't come in a room with a certain female, y'all automatically know not to try her like that, based off of how she carries herself, based off of what she has on. But so that's one way I'm gonna have to stick my foot in the female's ass, is like, y'all got to get that together, because you can't expect somebody to treat you of class or of a certain, caliber, and you don't even carry yourself like that. And another thing, fellas, I got something for y'all too. A lot of these men are predators. A lot of y'all have no self-control when it comes to sex, when it comes to what you see. Just because you could see something, it might catch your attention, that doesn't mean you have to go over there and touch it. You're not allowed to go over there and touch it. And then another thing, fellas that are good guys, stop hanging around guys that are predators. It's too many men out here that are pieces of trash, and guys that I might consider to be of caliber, y'all are hanging with them, and you know what they get into. They sexually intimidate women. They rape women. They try to get them drunk and get in where they fit in. And, oh, bro, come here. No, like, stop doing that. Stop doing that. Hold your friends, hold other men accountable. Like, stop allowing that. And then another thing too, it's like, I hate when I see men bashing women for twerking or being naked, but y'all are the same ones liking the post and giving them the attention and trying to seek attention from these women. Why do y'all do that? But then y'all expect for us to, like, no, why don't you lead by example? If you don't find that cool, you can't take that home to mom, why are you engaging in it? It's like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I get it, you're turned on and everything like that. Stop doing that, please. That's why all these women is running around thinking they got to get BBLs now.
Right.
It's like y'all say, yeah, I hate them BBLs, but y'all are the first ones to like each picture. That's why it's like a lot of torn women or broken women think that the attention has to come from them being naked or shaking their butts. You don't have to. Listen, let me tell you something about me. And I know I'm not the most confident woman in the world, but I can walk into an establishment with whatever I have on. Because of my energy, because of how I carry myself, my personality, men are going to still, girl, what's up with you? And I'm like, I look a mess today. You trying to see what's up with me? Like, it's the energy, it's the vibe. I don't have to go in there and bust a split in the middle of the dance floor. I don't have to do a handstand with a skirt on to get a man to look at me. And it's like a lot of women have to understand that sometimes the purest version of you is the best version of you. And a lot of y'all don't love yourselves for real. That's why you can't see it that way. That's why I said spend time alone. Learn to love yourself. Like, I remember me and my sister were joking. One of my sisters were joking one day, and she said, I was like, yeah, well, yeah. I was like, bring some of your friends over, or go here by yourself, and she was like, girl, I can't even stand being with my damn self. And like, it's like we laughed about it because it was funny, but it was like I was like, yo, wait a minute. Like on a serious aspect, no, you should love to be around yourself. I love being alone.
Right.
I done went on a little weekend getaway by myself. My last birthday, I took a solo trip to Jamaica. Had the time of my life. Like nobody took, girl, let's go over here. Let's go. Nah, just it's self-love. I feel like everything starts there. Like, and then everything else will be easier after that.
Yes. And I always got to take it to, we coming off of Black History Month. So it's
yes,
Black
ma'am.
History
Yes,
Month
ma'am. Now it's
2.0.
Women's History Month. Right.
2.0.
Correct.
And Women's History. Can't forget about that. However, I always got to say this. Black men and black women are the most unprotected humans. We're the most unprotected. And that's because we put so much protection in other communities' hands than our own. Like black men, you do know it's your job to protect black women. Even though, not saying that women and men can't get protection elsewhere, it's our job. Like other groups, they look at us, and something that I believe is people tell a lot about a man based off the condition of the women that he's around. If you're this man that is, I got this and I'm sick, I make six figures and I'm this, that, and the third, I have this degree and PhD, this and that, and you see the women and no disrespect, but they not upholding to that same image or at least that same likeness, you're literally not as big as you think to a lot of other groups.
Absolutely.
You're looked at as a man that cannot prioritize the women that he has, so he's not a leader. And you have to see that in yourself. That, okay, if I'm going to judge this woman for wearing booty shorts and twerking, but I'm the biggest patronizer of that industry, if I'm going to look at her as some disgust, why not look at yourself? Yeah. Because instead of talking down and degrading and disrespecting her, why not put life into that woman?
Right.
What could you do to this seed that can turn the outcome totally around? Speak and put life into her.
Right.
That same life that you seem to carry, put that in a woman and see what it does to her.
Right.
It is your job as a man to hold your woman up to a little bit higher degree than you are, because she is so easily influenced by all that's around her. And you need to look at that woman as, I can't let her fail, because she's the woman that's birthing a civilization after me. She's the woman that's going to continue my legacy. So I can't let her be a degree below me. Right. I got to raise her up higher.
Correct.
Not saying that she's above me, but I'm placing her there to let her know that that's what I expect of her.
That's a good leader.
That's a good leader.
That's a good leader.
And study dogs, snow dogs.
Okay, like the huskies.
Wolves, like huskies in the mountains, and study them. You see a pack of them, the leader's not in the front. There's always a lone wolf in the back, making sure that whatever comes behind them or at any angle from the front, back, sides, they seeing it. So as a man, study that. Put that woman a degree above you and see how much of a condition see how much her condition starts to change. Right. She start to fix herself when you come around the room.
It's a natural thing. It's a natural thing.
When you that dude, that mini skirt turned into an ankle skirt.
Come on, Hemi Neutron.
Okay? When you that dude.
Correct.
But you gotta do the work. You gotta put that woman back on the pedestal that she deserves to be on. And black men, we have to do, even if you're attracted to other, races or whatever have you, make sure you're taking care of the home base. Make sure your sisters, your moms, your nieces know that they are the creme de la creme. Okay? Don't make them feel like, oh, I'm less than.
Yeah.
Because I only cater to this.
Right.
No. Be just. Whatever it is that you like, treat women equally.
Right.
They all deserve to be valued. They all deserve to be protected. They all deserve to be respected.
Agreed.
No women, just because we're different or because you can't identify with that group, deserve to be treated differently or less than. We all deserve the same treatment. Like I said, treat them the way that you would want to be treated. It's simple. And, last thing I'll say about that predator stuff, leave our babies alone.
Right.
Let our daughters grow up. Let our daughters stop over sexualizing our children. Period. Because they're coming up with this mindset that they gotta do what they see the adults do.
Right.
And then when they become adults, they just doing outlandish stuff. They going way beyond the scopes of what's normal now.
Right.
So we gotta let them grow naturally by us setting the example of how we want them to be.
Right.
And if you don't want little Johnny, little Susie being this way, then don't be it. Because they're going to suck up whatever it is that you putting down. That's all I'm saying.
And then to snowball on something you had said a little bit earlier, I feel like men have to, in terms of being a good leader, if you meet a girl, right? Let's say you meet a girl in a strip club or something, and you decide I see myself being with her. Like, she has a dope personality, all of this. I feel like that beginning stage is the stage where you talk to her and be like, hey, do you ever see yourself leaving this lifestyle alone? Yeah. I feel like you better than this. You could probably take this money, put it into getting a business and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Because too many times I see men accepting the things that they see, what turns them on sexually or what have you. And then once they get with that individual, now they try to control them. And it's like, wait a minute, how is it this bad when you met me here? Like, and it's just like, wait a minute, no. Lead from the gate.
Right.
Lead from the gate and set the tone. It doesn't have to be in a controlling way. Just like you said, everything is going to fall in line if you're a good leader. It's not always about what you say, it's how you say it. The same way I said with the women, it's like when your man had a hard day and he comes in the house, like he might be late, don't yell at him, don't assume this, just talk to him first, be calm. It's the same way on the other side. Like if a man comes like, babe, like you better than this. Like why you need to be out here on channel 6 on and I'm like, dang, the way he said it motivated me instead of like I'm less than. Like, oh yeah, you out here doing this, you out here shaking your ass for like you out here doing it. Like what? It makes me feel dirty now. But you met me doing that. I was okay when you met me. Now you're not. So it's like we gotta figure it out. Well, they gotta figure it out. They gotta figure it out. I'm a work in progress. But yeah.
Oh, and when you're in a relationship, men, because this is key, and this is something that it hits home, because people assume when you get married, happily ever after, the work is done. I didn't got her, I got him. We could just live off and. No,
you gotta keep feeding it.
You still gotta keep feeding the wheel, like you say. You gotta keep still adding to one another and pouring into one another, because what happens is, if you're not on your post as a husband or as a wife, there's a big bad wolf that's right outside that door. That's like, oh, she removed her last name off her Facebook page. Let me get in them DMs. Oh, he ain't like her page in a while. Let me see what that's about. It's a big bad wolf right there. And if you leave that post, he gonna bite her ass. He gonna bite her. She gonna bite his ass.
That wolf's still waiting regardless.
And he hungry and his bones is stuck in, his ribs out. He's shaking. He's just waiting to hop on her.
Right.
So even though y'all locked in, don't necessarily mean the door is locked.
Correct.
Because it's a big bad wolf.
You gotta,
right there.
You gotta work to get in and work to stay in.
Okay, because he don't look like no snake. Like Adam and Eve. But his tongue.
Oh yeah.
is snake like.
What you say, sister? You said we gotta keep feeding the
Not
wheel?
to be nasty. I ain't talking nasty. But Taquan has left the room.
Think that.
He has left the room.
I didn't even think that.
Listen, his tongue is snake-like.
Correct.
Meaning he will seep into your mind with those innuendos and that, oh, I see you unprotected. You know, I could do for you with your. Listen, don't listen to it. Do the work when you're in a relationship. It never stops. There's no happily ever after. It's a marriage is an institution. It's an institution. There's little marriages in your marriage. You're going to learn a marriage and master every level, every step of the way. So continuously strive to do best to one another. Protect one another's mind, spirit, emotions, and all aspects of that person. Let protection be the number one driving force behind it all.
Right.
Because
it's something my dad always used to tell me real quick in closing.
Yes, in closing.
He always used to tell me, he said, the devil will never show himself to you as a snake. He's always going to show up as the thing you think you want. And I was like, oh, he was like, the devil going to be walking down the street with a 3-piece suit on looking like the best man you ever seen.
Yes,
he was like, and you got to watch out for him. You got to know how to catch the sign. I'm like, oh, you right.
Yes. But y'all, we have officially taken over.
Yes,
we
we
just
have.
talking.
Just talking.
We just talking. We just getting into some things.
We just chatting.
But it's been awesome talking to you, Joe.
Yes,
like,
it's been a long time. Girl.
Yes.
We ain't get
Long
to
as-
chop
gotta
it
get-
real, you know.
We got to get together.
Okay, now.
Yeah, and I appreciate Taquan for having us.
Yes.
Because this is a conversation that was really needed.
Absolutely. It definitely needed to be had, for sure.
So thank you.
Thank you for